Hi, I'm Shaun Davenport. I'm the Operations Process Manager here at EIDR, and today we've got Rob Keegan in the spotlight. It was our Trade Solutions Manager, and we're going to ask him some questions today around EIDR.
Go for it.
So, just to start us off then, what does EIDR stand for in the UK's customs procedures, and what is its main purpose?
So EIDR stands for Entry and Declarant Records. It's a simplification designed to facilitate trade at the border.
Perfect. And what authorisation is required for EIDR?
So EIDR requires an overall authorisation of SCDP. SCDP is made up of SDP and EIDR.
And who is legally responsible for customs declarations under EIDR?
So submitting the declaration is the holder of EIDR, but the accuracy of the declaration will always be the importer.
Perfect. How long after the import must the supplementary declaration be completed?
So first of all, a supplementary declaration is a declaration that's happened after the goods have crossed the frontier. This must happen by the 10th calendar day of the following month.
And is there any certain type of goods that are excluded from the simplified procedures?
Yeah, there's quite a lot. So anything with a license or a control that's required to be notified at the frontier. Most common one is a CHED, notified on iPaths. Other goods such as excise goods, also excluded, and any goods with a trade defence measure, countervailing duty, anti-dumping duty, safeguarding duty, all of those would be excluded as well.
Okay. And can EIDR be used at all UK ports?
So it can, but it really shines at GVMS ports. At GVMS ports, you only have to show the EIDR number of the authorised party. At inventory ports, you have to have a frontier notification. This comes in the form of a C21 EIDR notice of presentation.
Is there any benefits for importers using EIDR?
Yeah, so the biggest benefit is time and predictability. So if you've got a very large invoice to declare, you can authorise it under EIDR and then submit the declaration after it's arrived. You're never going to be waiting for an MRN. You've got a constant mechanism to release goods at the frontier without thinking, will my MRN be ready before I cross? Am I going to get it in time? Has my broker gone home? Using EIDR, you don't have to worry about that.
And because of the simplified procedure, does that bring any compliance risks or additional risks?
Yeah, so the biggest compliance risk is making sure the declaration's done. Here at EIDR, where we're EIDR approved, we have very good record keeping software that allows us to accept a consignment in, release it against EIDR, and make sure that a declaration's done afterwards.
Brilliant. A bit of a scenario-based example now. So any trailer or a trailer arrives in the UK, but the importer record has not been created. Can the goods still move under EIDR?
Yeah, so what would happen there is the goods would be allowed to board the ferry under EIDR. The declaration doesn't have to be done. This can be done after the goods have been delivered, but as long as the consignment and trailer in your example was released against the EIDR approval, absolutely no need for the declaration to be done until after the goods have arrived.
Okay. And if an importer uses EIDR for control goods without an authorisation, what could happen?
Well, that's a double whammy there. So if they're not approved to use EIDR and they've sort of taken an agent's approval to cross the border or somebody else's approval, then they're in the wrong and they're liable. Secondly, controlled goods shouldn't be declared under EIDR anyway, so equally as bad.
Okay, brilliant. And then just to finish off for today then, so if the UK aligns to EU SPS controls, how will simplified procedures be used?
So at the moment, under the agreement that we have with the EU, most food products or products of animal origin, SPS goods, need to have a frontier MRN because they require a licence, a CHED on iPaths. Everybody's quite familiar with the process. But if there are no controls because we're all agreeing to the same rules, then you can move everything under EIDR that previously couldn't because it needed a CHED. Anything like excise or, let's say, military goods, they still can't use EIDR, but for the bulk of everybody's imports, food, let's say, they can go under EIDR.
Perfect. Thank you for answering the questions.
That's all right. I hope you've learnt a lot.
I have. Thank you very much.